frozen chaos of Whiteout Survival, the ultimate victory is forged in 1 hour. Just 1 hour of pure fire and steel. So this right here, this is your strategic briefing for achieving absolute dominance in the Foundry Battle. We're calling it Forge of Supremacy. You know, in the world of Whiteout Survival, this isn't just some cool bit of lore. No, it's the fundamental law of the land. And the Foundry, that's where that law gets written. Because here's what so many players get wrong. This 60-minute war, it's really an optimization problem. Victory doesn't just go to the player with the biggest stats, it goes to the smartest alliance. And today, we are breaking down the hard math that separates the victors from everyone else. Okay, so let's get into it. To truly master this battlefield, you've got to understand its architecture first. We're gonna deconstruct this whole thing. The battle itself unfolds in 3 very distinct phases. The first 15 minutes, that's all about establishing your foundation. The next 15, that's when things get interesting, because the high-stakes central buildings unlock. And then the final 30 minutes, that's when total war begins. It's a phase we call warfare economics, where every single move, every decision can literally win or lose you the game. Now, these buildings you see on the map, they are not just there to give you points. No, they are force multipliers, and you have to look closely. The boiler room, for example, cuts your capture time in half. The transit station does the same for your teleport cooldown. And the munitions warehouse, well, that gives you a massive combat advantage. Controlling these isn't just about scoring, it's the very first step to controlling the entire flow of the fight. All right, let's shift gears now. We're moving from the map itself to the math behind it all. We're about to look at the hidden numbers that decide the outcome of every single fight. This, my friends, is where the real leverage is found. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the single biggest, most impactful combat buff you can get your hands on in the Foundry Battle? I'll give you a hint. It's not your gear, it's not your tech. The answer, it might actually surprise you. It's this guy right here, Expert Fabian. He's a second-generation expert, and he provides a very targeted, event-specific buff that is, and I'm not exaggerating, completely game-breaking. If he is not in your lineup for this event, you are starting the fight at a massive disadvantage. Just how big of a disadvantage are we talking about? Just look at this number. When you stack Fabian's personal buff with the buff you get from holding the munitions warehouse, you are fighting with a staggering 75.9% net combat advantage. This isn't a slight edge. It is a dominant, nearly unbeatable position. It's like bringing a tank to a knife fight. So how do we best apply that overwhelming power? Well, for that, we turn to actual military theory, specifically something called Lanchester's square law. Now, the core idea is pretty simple, actually. The fighting strength of a group scales with the square of its numbers. And this has profound implications for how we should be fighting. And here's what that law looks like in practice. Splitting your forces doesn't just divide your strength, it reduces it exponentially. 2 separate marches are, mathematically speaking, way weaker than one big concentrated rally. So the takeaway here is absolutely critical. On key objectives, concentrated rallies are not just a good idea, they are mandatory. You have to do it. Okay, now that we understand the raw math of fighting, let's talk about the art of outthinking your opponent. This isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about high-level strategy and perfect timing. This is the fun part. Let's look at a pretty advanced tactic called the bubble snatch. The idea is, well, it's kind of counterintuitive. You actually let your opponent hold the Imperial Foundry. You let them build up this huge bubble of temporary points. Then, late in the game, you strike. The moment you capture that building, all those points they thought they had are released all over the map as collectibles, just waiting for your alliance to scoop them all up. And the payoff for this move? It's enormous. A single, well-timed bubble snatch can pull in an average of 17,500 points for your team. To put that in perspective, that's more than you'd get from holding a repair facility for almost half the entire game. It is a massive, game-changing swing from just one single decisive action. So, all of this creates a really fascinating strategic choice, and it's all based on your alliance's relative power. If you know you're the stronger team, you attack the Foundry immediately. Deny the enemy any chance of building that bubble in the first place. But if you're the underdog, you play patient, you wait, and you prepare for the snatch in those crucial final minutes. All right, we've covered the theory, we've covered the math, and we've covered the high-level tactics. Now, let's put it all together. Let's build a concrete, phase-by-phase battle plan. This is the optimal execution protocol. First up, roles. Now, the most critical decision you'll make is where your number one player, your whale, is going to be. And here's the twist. They don't attack. They're assigned to D1, your top defensive anchor. Now, why would you do that? Because their sheer power creates a defensive wall the enemy simply cannot afford to attack. This frees up your other strong players to just go dominate the map offensively. Meanwhile, your other high to mid spenders become the main attack force, and your free-to-play members lock down the outer ring. Okay, Phase 1, the first 15 minutes. Your objective is absolute. You simultaneously rush the boiler room and the transit station to lock down those critical buffs. From there, you expand to the other scoring buildings. But here's the key part. Your primary attack team, that A1 group, must conserve its strength. Their real fight doesn't begin until minute 15. Now, Phase 2, the central conflict. The sequence here is completely non-negotiable. You take the munitions warehouse first to get that massive combat buff. Then, you use the mercenary camp to soften up their defenses. Only then do you launch the main assault, a staggered double rally on the Imperial Foundry. That means launching 2 rallies timed to hit just seconds apart to completely overwhelm them with concentrated force. And finally, we hit Phase 3, Warfare Economics. This entire phase is about maximizing your efficiency. Your free-to-play players should switch to gathering those risk-free points from the weapon workshops. Your top attackers begin a staggered 12-minute healing rotation to keep the pressure on constantly. And you keep a close eye on that clock, ready to execute the bubble snatch sometime between minutes 50 and 55. So if you forget everything else I've said today, please remember these 3 directives. 1, equip Fabian. That 75.9% advantage is just too big to ignore. 2, your top player anchors the defense. Do not use them to attack. It is the most powerful deterrent you have. And 3, follow the capture sequence. Boiler, then transit, then munitions, then the foundry. It's designed to stock advantages in the perfect order. Because in the end, it all comes back to this one simple truth. The Foundry Battle isn't random. It's a system with rules that can be understood and exploited. If you control the math, you control the weapons. And if you control the weapons, you control the Tundra.